joining us. Okay, I think we're ready whenever you want to start. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram simultaneously. And with those people here, several of the people who wanted to join us invited some friends that are live on our events on social media, but only those special people that are here can interact with you, make questions. So they're special there. That's why we all invited. And thank you, Ken, for making the time to being with us. We are very curious to learn more about the nutrition digital program. So thank you for making the time to be with us and train us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm so grateful actually for opportunities to be able to maybe reach more people and give more understanding of what we have as a tool in this little tiny box called the Healy. You know, it's just amazing what we can do. And so we're going to specialize in just the digital nutrition tonight and the HealAdvisor, which is a couple of the HealAdvisor is an app. And the digital nutrition is a module. And I want to kind of get some of the words a little bit right so that everybody understands what we're working with here. But Healy has some phenomenal tools and capabilities. And the Healy itself is a quantum sensor and a piece of hardware that interfaces with an app-driven programming system. App-driven. What's that mean? Well, it means that you can operate on your smart device. Pretty cool. And the Healy itself it essentially uses that software and its database structure to come up with alignments. I like to call them alignments because typically we have a lot of things that wind up becoming misaligned in our bodies and in our life. So one of the things we're going to talk about tonight is the digital nutrition aspect of Healy. And I don't know if you guys ever heard of digital nutrition before Healy. I mean, how many of you guys actually have ever heard of digital nutrition before Healy came around, right? I hadn't. I had never heard of digital nutrition. I mean, I know what it means to go to the grocery store or go to my garden or collect some goodies and make my amazing concoctions, but digital nutrition, yeah, I was like blown away with what that meant when I started learning how it worked. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight, is that aspect. And if we understand some of the principles about the body, then we can kind of see how this digital nutrition system would interface. The body itself is a constantly evolving organism. I mean, to the tune of 800,000 cells per second. The body is recreating itself. And this is a divine intervention, a divine action that you're not doing. I mean, honestly, how many of you guys just now decided to have 800,000 cells divide? Did you say to do that? I don't think so. Nobody did. But it's happening anyway, behind the scenes. And there's a genetic code that is written for each one of those cells so that the predecessor, the next cell, knows exactly what to be and how to be it. So of this genetic code, there's only about 3% that actually says it's going to be a skin cell or a bone cell or a muscle cell or a brain cell or something like that. The other 97% is essentially an adaptive gene, reading the energetic influence or the energy around it. And what's around it was this is within your body. So any energy that your body's being subjected to or experiencing is having an influence on that 97% of the genetic code. So when we are in an environment, say that it's extremely cold, then the body, your senses are taking in this content. And when those cells are dividing to the tune of 800,000 per second, remember I said that earlier, there's going to be a quiz at the end, so write that down. That 800,000 cells per second are taking in your sensory information, your thoughts, your beliefs, your perceptions, all of the contents that makes you, so that the cells can maintain that organism, the you. And that 97% of the adaptive gene that I was telling you about is simply reading the frequency of that you that it's living within. So think about this for a second. If you are in extreme cold and your senses are taking in that content, then your cell structures need to evolve in order to adapt and survive in that environment. And so there's certain things that start changing with your body. If you're in extreme hot, same thing. So again, skin cells that become skin cells and they are in maybe a very hot environment need to have a little bit more resistance to maybe the environment that's giving this sensory perception. So when we start to look at what Healy can do, Healy is a apparatus in which it can interface with that 97% of the cell's adaptive gene I was telling you about in 3 different ways. One way it does that is through the microcurrent in which you're connected to the device, right? You're putting a small, low-powered current flow into the body. That's just simply I call it the bucket or the pail. It's the carrier wave that is containing the frequencies of the program that you're running. All right. So it's the carrier through your body, and it's sending this current through your body, cell by cell, through electron flow. And piggybacked on that electron flow is the frequencies of the program that's uniting the body in whatever design it's meant to do. So that's one way, through microcurrent. We're not going to get into that really deep tonight because that's another great conversation. Another way is through a EMF. Maybe you guys have heard that EMF before and you go, ooh, that sounds scary because you've heard that EMFs are bad. EMF just simply means electromagnetic force or electromagnetic frequencies. They're kind of interchangeable. Electromagnetic force is given by the Earth. The Earth has magnetic poles, and there's energy flowing around the Earth. And we, as a human body on this planet, are being subjected to it or interfacing with it. Not just that, the sun's putting out energy in an EMF, right? Within different spectrums. Some of it's ultraviolet, some of these light frequencies, as they get slower and slower, they go all the way down to infrared. But this is light frequencies, and the sun puts out all the spectrums of light. We're feeling it, receiving it. I mean, just go outside on a sunny day. Just put your hand up. You can feel it, right? That's energy. That's EMF, electromagnetic frequency. Of course, lights and transmitters and the Wi-Fi and your cell phones and all that kind of stuff does the same thing. But Healy does it in another way. There is a small quantum sensor, aka also a noise generator, that sends these frequencies out into the field. This is a wave of information that's going out omnidirectionally from the Healy. And it can be amplified by an attachment that is called the coil. We can amplify that magnetic signal, but it's happening anyway all the time. So that's method number 2. Magnetically, electromagnetically, we can influence the body. Okay. And the third modality in which Healy interfaces with us is through the information field, the quantum field of information. Understand, everybody here on this call has a divine blueprint of you that lives and exists in the quantum field. It's in the space of information, all information. And this signal or this information is very pure. So this is a blueprint. I call it a blueprint of you. You could call it, if depends on your religious background, you can call it the God code, you can call it the information field, you can call it the quantum field, you can call it anything you wish. It's just it's an understanding of you that is very, very pure. The moment that signal starts to slow down in frequency, because it's just frequency, just information, it's pure energy, a code that's purely you in its best form. In order for it to become matter, the bodies that we're seeing in real time right now, this pure signal needs to slow down in frequency to condense into matter, but it needs something to make that happen, which is called a consciousness, an awareness. So without a consciousness, without an awareness, you're not going to have this material body. So as it starts to come through our consciousness, our awareness, it's filtered by our beliefs, perceptions, behaviors, things that are past, and now it becomes a body. How does it become a body? Remember I said 800,000 cells per second? Remember? It's on the quiz. Write it down. And 97% of that code is reading its environment. It's an antenna reading the environment, influenced by energy. So do you see the circle so far? This perception, these beliefs, this ego has an effect as it starts to take this perfect blueprint of us and solidify it into matter. It's filtered. And so typically this perception, as it's filtering into matter, is what's the matter. I mean, it's some form of concepts, limiting beliefs, maybe anger, maybe other emotional influences, but it still has an influence on the cell structure. So Healy's third way of interfacing with us is by reading and writing from that blueprint, from that information field. So in other words, writing content to that signature, to that blueprint, and reading information from that blueprint so that it can align frequencies to interface, again, with that 97% of the adaptive code. All right. So that's the third way it works. And Healy uses, there's really 3 different apps in which Healy uses to interface or to use the hardware, the Healy hardware, and create alignments with you. The 3 apps are the Healy app, which is we call affectionately the pink dot app. That one works with modality number 1, the microcurrent. Okay. The next one is the blue dot app, which is the HealAdvisor Analyze app. That one works with the information field. And then we also have the HealAdvisor, just the advisor itself. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. That's where the digital nutrition interface lives. So there's 3 different apps. And I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to pull my phone here on the call with us. And let me show you what that looks like. Okay. 1 second here while I share that particular screen. You guys that are already Healy experts or users, you guys already know how to operate these 3 apps, right? And you may also know exactly what those 3 apps look like, but I want to kind of dive into those a little bit more. Let's see. I'm still learning it just as much as some of you guys are on this particular. Here we go. Share screen. Yes. All right. And go. Okay. So what I'm showing you right now is my phone. And here is the apps and what they look like. There are actually 4 apps, one of which is assigned to the Healy watch, which is specific in terms of interfacing with the biorhythmic content of our body. It's a watch. It's a smartwatch that takes readings and sends that to Healy as well. But we're looking at the pink dot in the center, the blue dot on the right, and then the HealAdvisor at the bottom, the swishy lines. The HealAdvisor is, again, it's like this interface cloud that I was talking about. So I just wanted to show you what those look like. I'm going to go ahead and open the HealAdvisor real quick here. And it just takes a moment. It will do a little update. And then we'll be able to see the content here.
So Ken, just for everybody to know, we're going to open for questions at the end. So don't worry. I know you guys are really anxious to ask questions in regards to your apps. So take notes of everything you want to ask. At the end, we're going to have some time for the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So again, we're talking about the HealAdvisor app. This is just an application run by your smart device. and it is the interface with essentially your Healy account. And when we're looking at digital nutrition tonight as well. So I just want to show you where digital nutrition, one of the places in which digital nutrition lives within the overall community of Healy. Okay, it's right here. So digital nutrition. And you can see what we can do here. We have the digital nutrition IMF programs, or individualized microcurrent frequencies. That's big name for microcurrent frequencies that are sent into the body. We have a shopping list, which is really cool because, again, this is kind of like our personal coach, where we can actually have this system help us with finding the foods that contain the nutrients that we're trying to achieve. And then we have the digital nutrition assistant. This is kind of a space in which we can put goals in, and then the assistant gives us some advice. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of what that looked like. So we'll stop that. And then let's go over here, and I want to show you guys a quick presentation on the digital nutrition and on the Advisor app, so you can kind of get a little bit, we'll get a little bit more into it as we speak. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's go to, so I'm learning this particular program, so give me a minute. Share my screen here. If there's any questions you guys want to pop up, and Bettina, if you want to, there we go. If there's anything you want to answer or bring up, I can definitely chat about those. Here we go.
There is something important that you said to me, and I want to share with everybody, is that after a certain date, everybody who bought Healy will have access to HealAdvisor for free. I think it's April 19, 2021. Everything that was purchased before this date, the clients need to have a subscription to the HealAdvisor, and the monthly cost is around $38 or $34, if I'm not wrong.
Correct. So can everybody see my screen here? We're going to talk about the digital nutrition.
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. So I just want to put this little disclaimer up on the screen at the moment because, of course, we want to just talk about, we're working with microcurrents and things that this is very, very new in its application. But when it comes to microcurrent, it's been around since the early 1900s. It's been around a long time. And there's a lot of studies, a lot of very distinct findings on how it can adjust and change the cell itself. And some of those findings, the proof and the studies show that that microcurrent increases ATP production by up to 500%. Now that's the energy in the cell. This is a pretty cool, significant understanding, because when we're looking at maybe whether it be health issues, misalignments within our energy fields, these significant changes to the body means a lowering of energy, and the cells in our body have a very specific cell membrane potential, and we can measure whether they're healthy, vital cells or if they're diseased or near dying cells by simply that cell membrane energy. So if we're looking at increasing energy in a cell by microcurrent, now we're raising the health of that cell structure. Now, I'm talking about one cell in particular, but really Healy has created frequencies that will speak to a system of cells. When you put one cell combined into many, many cells becomes a system. That system is an organ. Those organs interface with an entire body and becomes us, right? So we're working at the very very beginning level of the cell's health. So that's where the microcurrents interfacing. So ATP production, as well as protein synthesis and amino acid transport. And of course, digital nutrition, we're talking about proteins, amino acids, nutrients, vitamins and minerals. All right. So let's move to the next slide. Okay. So this is the digital nutrition app. And it's DNA for short. I mean, I love the little play on words there, right? We're working literally with the digital influence on our genetic code. So digital nutrition app is DNA for short. And it is a subscription-based program. Now, different editions of Healy, the professional edition, this comes with that particular edition, but you can buy this subscription for, you know, it's not very expensive. You can get that on a monthly subscription. I want to say it's around $38. Correct me if I'm wrong. $35, something like that a month. So here's kind of the nuts and bolts. Digital nutrition is a way of interfacing. Remember with that code I was telling you about? It's not replacing the nutrients that you're going to eat through your food, but everything, if we were to boil it down to its most basic form, everything is just energy, vibration. Just if we could magnify all things around us, we would be able to see just vibrating, beautiful content. And this vibrational frequency is what sets things apart. So when we eat our food, our body digests this food and it breaks it all the way down from the solid to the chemical to the energy. And then the cells uptake that energetic frequency and change our health, right? Or again, nourish our cell systems or malnourish our cell systems. Depends on what we're eating. Some things are not as healthy as others. So digital nutrition does not replace, I want to make sure this is clear, does not replace eating food. So you're not going to just dial up your vitamins and minerals and be content. Your body's not going to be content with that. But it does have 72 very specific IMF programs. And these programs are allocated by purpose. Okay, so within the one program, its purpose might be hair. Now, I don't use that a lot because I prefer this style. But like I said, it could be around hair. And I know many people who use the digital nutrition to accent hair, right? Because there's components within the food or the minerals and nutrients you take in that accent and help our hair. So amongst these 72 very specific programs, there's basically a program for almost everything. I like the ones that are around fitness. There's ones for muscle and for recovery, things like that. Okay. So it's still important that we're taking in a good balanced nutritional content within our what we're doing on a daily basis. But it's all food, everything we ingest is measured on what's called bioavailability to the body. So certain things that we eat, if the body doesn't digest it well, it's not going to really be effective to our body. And let me remind you of this also, that the body's state of being, in other words, rest and digest, or fight or flight. Maybe you've heard of those. This is what we call the sympathetic or the parasympathetic nervous system. When we're in stress mode, this is the fight or flight mode, non-essential systems shut down. what are those non-essential systems? Well, number one, non-essential systems that shut down when you're in stress response is digestion, because this is a survival mechanism that's been wired into the human race for our survival. And once upon a time, we were both predator and prey. And so when we were preyed upon and we're running for our lives, stress response kicked on. And so the digestion systems it's not necessary when we're running for our lives, right? So that's number one non-essential system that shuts down when you are in stress response. Number two, non-essential system that shuts down is our immune system. We don't need to worry about fighting off a cold or a bug when we're worried about being squished by T-Rex, right? I mean, this is some of the stuff we used to run from. And then number three, non-essential system when you're in stress response is the reproductive system. It's not a time to make life when you're running for your life, right? So when it comes to digital nutrition, if we are in stress mode, if we are in that fight or flight response, then the first system that goes offline is digestion. And so the bioavailability of anything we ingest is being compromised. So digital nutrition doesn't just give you the energy frequencies of the nutrient or the vitamin or the amino acid. It's also increasing the bioavailability of what you are already ingesting, so that the cell receptor sites, the cells themselves, can uptake the content that you've eaten, right? Well, by down-regulating some of the stress responses, up-regulating those cell receptor sites. Okay. So it is, like I mentioned, a monthly subscription. What do you get? You get the individualized microcurrent frequencies. These are designed to work with that bioenergetic field that we talked about earlier. And again, there's the topics such as hair, performance, flexibility, etc. There is, with the digital nutrition, there's going to be a component that gets activated on the Advisor app, and we're going to go into that later. But it's a questionnaire, so you can identify certain dietary preferences, or even things that allergies and things that you want to stay away from. So you can do this. There's a questionnaire you can fill out and help the system be more specific to your needs. All right. And then it will also take this information and then find out what exact individualized microcurrent frequency programs that you need to enhance what you're doing. All right. So as well as there's a companion, the coach that I mentioned earlier, that kind of comes along to help you track your the things that you're trying to accomplish. Okay. So here's kind of what it looks like. You have the assistant over here on the left, which is step one. This is where you would put in the certain, I don't know, nutrient philosophies that you have. You know, maybe you like to stay in a more alkaline. Maybe you are just trying to eat more clean, or convenience foods, things like that. It's just whatever your philosophy around nutrition is, then there's a category, a database in which it will help you stay within that position, right? Then you've got a search function within this digital nutrition protocol that helps you to find very specific programs and nutrients and things to help you accomplish a certain task. So in other words, if I put in the search right here, said muscle, right? Then it's going to find the programs that are going to help me propagate muscle. And then I can come up with the recommended programs over here on the third one from the left. And it tells me which particular one of the 72 programs I told you about earlier, which particular ones will support my goal. And then at the end down here, it will help us create a shopping list to stay within these protocols. I think this is amazing. Honestly, I think it's like brilliant. It's amazing how this elaborate database, this huge AI system, and that's literally what it is, an AI system, that helps us to improve our lives. So, let me stop sharing that right there and go back into, let's see, where were we? Come out of there. All right. I believe I got that turned off. Yeah. Okay. So let's pause for just a second. I don't know if there's any questions in the chat. Anybody has anything that they would like to maybe get a little understanding before we move over to the advisor? Anything? No?
We have Christy too in our group here, and she's a nutritionist, and she has a fasting program. That's why I think for her it will be very interesting. I don't know, Christy, do you have any questions?
I have tons of questions. I think this is so fascinating, and I love how you explained how like the chemicals don't actually get into the cell, but has to have the right frequency. I wish everyone understood that. So I'm confused because I can't open my HealAdvisor, and I should be able to do that.
So we'll go into that advisor here in just a second, because they are tied together. You know, they work synergistically together.
With the well, I mean, not the advisor. I can't get into the one with the lines.
Yeah, that's the advisor.
Okay.
It's called HealAdvisor,
Okay.
and so that's the one with the wavy lines, and it's an app. And the way to get in that is it's real similar to the Blue Dot app. Is you have to actually log in. So if you open the app, if you've never logged into it before, it's got to first establish who you are, right? Okay. And so it's gonna ask you to log in. If it doesn't ask you to log in, there could be something wrong with the app itself. Now, if this is the first time you've ever used it, then like when we download it from our App Store or Google Play or wherever it is, it depends on our device. Sometimes our device doesn't have a lot of memory because we've got, like, you know, pictures of Christmas and New Year's and, you know, our feet. We got a picture of everything on there, and it's just taking up a lot of space. So it's important that you have at least, you know, you've not gone over 75% of the memory allocations in your smart device. If you're operating on the teetering point of max, this advisor app's not going to work.
Okay. That might be part of the problem. I always have to do some deletion if I'm going to run a video or something.
And that's a clue, by the way, folks. That's a clue that when you have to delete something just to add another picture, yeah, you're maxed out.
Yeah. What they suggested, and I think it's very savvy, maybe you can have a specific device to use for Healy. For example, in my case, I have an iPad where I use Healy with my clients, or you can upgrade your phone if you really want to use this as a tool to work, to have more memory. Those are the two options, or separate or upgrade, because it's kind of hard to delete all your pictures, but you want to make it work.
I need to just get a new phone for just the Healy and some other programs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very useful strategy. I do that, especially if you're working with clients and other people, that you don't want to be in the middle of something that you're doing and your partner sends you a text like inviting you to, you know, dinner or something like that, and it's on a national call. You're like, oh, honey, you know, I'm busy. But the point is like having a separate device, and honestly, folks, you don't have to have a device that has a phone number. You can get a used device that, because all of them will access the Wi-Fi. The only thing you need is a Wi-Fi to be able to log on to and be able to download and upload and communicate with your Healy cloud. So you know, I advise people all the time, just, you could get a used one. Maybe even you have an old mobile device that you know, upgraded and you still have it. You just clear everything off of it and just use it as your Healy little special device, right? So, so back to, if we're having troubles getting the app to load, I also want to make sure that you close all of the other apps in the background. Now, when I say close, I don't mean just move over to another app. No, I mean hard close them so they're not running in the background. You need to hard close all of the other apps that are running in the background. So, because when you're working with a client or you're working with yourself, it's not time to go check your email, because if you get bad news on your email, what happens when you get stressed out? What happens to your digestive system? What did I just say? It's going, right? You don't want to read that bad email or any bad news. So you just want to stay focused. And that means that you have all the other apps in the background closed. All right. So any other questions about the digital nutrition? That was something on the advisor. And Chrissy, I love what you said about, or what Whitney said, or what Bettina said about fasting, because in our advisor, when we're setting this up and that questionnaire we're doing, we can choose fasting. And so it's going to find all of the programs, all of the advice that orbit around the concept of fasting. I mean, what? It's amazing. It's great.
Because you can't even really, if you're doing it strict, you can't even take supplements while you're fasting. And it'd be so nice to optimize energy while we're fasting.
Oh, I hear you. How many times? I mean, I hear this all the time. When someone is fasting, what are you doing? What's happening when you're fasting? You're moving your body's natural resource pool from the tank, aka the stomach, to another energy source, which is a very more efficient source. Fats, our bodies has a ton of energy in reserve, but we never train our body how to use it. We really don't, right? So anyway, yeah, there's a way that you can actually choose fasting as a personal choice of nutritional modalities. All right. So let's open up. I'm going to open up the other presentation so we can look at, I want to kind of make sure everybody has an understanding of the concepts of microcurrent, the energetic influence on the genetic code, right? What's influencing that? And start to see how Healy is interfacing, biohacking, right? That 97% of the code that is an antenna reading the environment. Now, I'm talking about the 800,000 cells per second that are being created in this present moment. What about the other cells that are already around? They're already here, right? They're still doing the job, okay? Well, remember that cell, every single one, whether it's your bones or your muscles or your skin, they all have a history. They also all have a cell membrane voltage. And the voltage itself determines the health of the cell. So if you're looking at the entire skin as an organ, and we want to improve or increase the cell membrane voltage, why not just put the battery charger on there, right? And charge up that voltage. Well, this is exactly what Healy does with the microcurrent. It's exactly what it does. ATP production, I mentioned earlier, increased by up to 500%. That's an ultimate battery charger right there. So the Healy frequencies are speaking directly to a specific system, organ, tissue, emotion, or spiritual interaction. So that's the cool stuff. All right. So now let's go over here, and I'm going to go back to my presentation here, see if I can get that. Okay. And we'll pull up it's going to take a minute. Seems like it takes a second for it to actually share. Can you guys see my screen? No. All right. I'm trying to get it to do so, and go. Okay. So again, I'm going to show you a bit about the advisor, and we've got a disclaimer that we just want to, you guys can review it real quickly. There's the disclaimer, and we'll go ahead and start this up. Okay. So the advisor is like Bettina said earlier, if you've purchased your Healy after July 9th of 2021, all the additions that Healy was had available from that point on have the HealAdvisor app included. This is huge. This is huge because within this app, there is a search function. That's why it's called HealAdvisor Search. There's a search function in which you could actually type in a condition and allow the AI system to find alignment tools for that condition, aka the IMF programs or the Healy microcurrent programs. This is a huge tool. This was something that as the advisory board, we were trying to get put in for, I don't know how long, for a long time. And it was like ever since I began, because Healy is a management tool for, I don't know, misalignments. And so all the time I was getting questions like, well, what program do I use for this condition? Well, I'm not a physician and we really can't give that kind of advice. It's not really compliant. So we thought, well, why wouldn't Healy have some kind of advisor that would do that for us? Well, here it is. And now everybody gets it. Now you can get this particular subscription as well and add it to, if you have a device that's prior to that date, you can add that, and it is definitely worth its weight in gold. All right. So here's essentially how the advisor operates. It literally accesses expert databases. It's an AI system that, oh my God. I mean, the vast amount of content that's available, it's just unbelievable. So it really helps to describe these relationships between all these categories. I mean, poor health, chakras, foods. It gives us an advice as to what programs to use. It's working with an AI system, an artificial intelligence system, and it works super fast, by the way. And then it can help us to, like I mentioned, pull up some programs that are going to most optimize whatever our misalignments are. It's also got a self-learning algorithm to help when you put in queries and the data that you interface with the most, that it's going to help to pull those up a little bit more specifically. All right. So at the top of the page, so real similar as I was showing you in the digital nutrition presentation there, that you can put in the HealAdvisor search, you can put a keyword in there. You put a keyword in there and it's going to tell you exactly what programs to use to optimize or realign whatever those misalignments are. There's also another component in which, if you're not finding the things that you need, that you can actually input a question or input some kind of a need. And
question, Ken. Heidi has a question. I don't know if you have some time, if you can answer her question.
Okay, I can't see it. I'm actually in the full screen presentation, so I can't see it.
Heidi, can you ask your question? She just raised her hand. That's why I'm seeing.
Okay. Well, this is the last. I think this is the last slide. So we'll go back over to the other screen here in just a sec. But anyway, this is a very valuable tool that we can use to help us again make some alignments. Okay. So the advisor is not. I mean, it's an app, but it's so much more in terms of what it can do and how it interfaces with the Healy. Okay. Question. Let me see. Where is that?
Hi, Ken. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have an older Healy from early on when it first came out in the US, and I have the I'm forgetting the name of it now. I'm sorry. I haven't used it in so long. The original one where it does scan you.
Okay.
And so it's sort of like, go ahead.
Resonance.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have that one, and that one does give you a reading. How is that different than this app?
It's a great question. So what she's referring to there is if you have the Resonance Edition, the Resonance Edition gives you the microcurrent app, which is the pink dot, but it also gives you the blue dot app, which is called the HealAdvisor Analyze app. It's really similar names, right? You have the HealAdvisor Search and they have the HealAdvisor Analyze. Sounds the same, but it's a bit different. The HealAdvisor Analyze app does exactly that. It will analyze you based on your choice of databases. Okay, when it's doing its analytics, it looks at either the auric fields, the light fields of the body, or the resonant fields, the tangible body itself, and then gives you alignment tools to help you balance that bioenergetic self. Now, that's the resource pool that particular app uses. You are interfacing with that, but it's on, there's hundreds and hundreds of different database contents that you can do the analysis on. And it's going to tell you what you need based on, like if you've chosen all Healy programs, then it's going to pull all of the Healy microcurrent programs into the resource pool, and it's going to look at your bioenergetic field, your perfect alignment, and then bridge the two with recommendations within the IMF or individualized microcurrent frequency programs. And you're going to wind up getting a list of programs that you should run. And it's even going to give you a priority, in percentage. Here's one that's the highest percentage. Here's the next and the next and the next. And so from there, you could run the frequencies from that blue dot, from the blue dot app. You can run the frequencies into your field, or you can switch over to the pink dot app and run the microcurrent frequencies into your body on the tangible side. But the cool thing about the HealAdvisor Analyze, that analytics looks at all of Healy's programs and frequencies, irregardless if you have the subscription or not. So even if you don't have the digital nutrition subscription or some of the other ones, even though you don't have them, it'll still pull up the programs necessary to align you for whatever you're trying to align. And then you can run them from that app, from the blue dot. Now, how does that differentiate from the advisor? The advisor, you just simply go up there and put a keyword in. Put in sunburn, right? I have that a lot. So but put in the word sunburn. And then it's going to look at the database of all the resources of Healy and give you some microcurrent program recommendations, right? It's not analyzing you, it's analyzing a condition. A little bit different.
Also can correct me if I'm wrong. For example, I went to Brazil and then I had a client who had some issues. So I wrote down the keywords of her issues and I was able to identify 18 different programs that could help her. And then my mom is running the programs for her in her device. It was like really a support tool to other people than by yourself.
Yeah, because if we start to say, if somebody comes up and asks us, oh my gosh, what do I do for a sunburn? And we tell them, well, put gasoline on it. I mean, it's like, that's bad advice, right? And so they're going to come, they do that, what we told them to do, and then they're worse. And then they're not very happy with us, are they?
Yeah. So, can I ask you a question though? I know that Nino Nunez frequencies were in all the historical ones. Have we now added Carol McMackin's frequencies?
Yeah, so Nuno Nina created what's called he didn't create frequencies. He just figured out how to utilize them, and he categorized them into the 144,000 gold cycle frequencies, right? And then he put that into the gold page with the 7 very specific programs. And Nuno Nina, he takes all of his expertise and brings it to the table and built that. Carolyn McMackin her expertise is in the frequency specific microcurrent, or in other words, a 2-channel interface with one type of frequency on this channel and another types of frequency on this channel to interface with the body and make alignments in that regard. And so what she brings to the table is, again, another set of very specific frequencies that are studied, practiced, used, and then evaluated to find out what the effects or the alignments of the body. And so that system is built into the MAG Healy. The MAG Healy, the new product coming out. They're gonna be talking about that on Friday on the call this week. So
okay, so none of those Carol McMacken frequencies are currently available with our Healy.
Well, here's a cool thing. Let me tell you something. Nobody owns a frequency. I'm just saying. Now, they may own the intellectual rights to the way they're used, but they don't own a frequency. Frequencies are free. They're free for everybody, right? And so Healy uses a spectrum of frequencies between 0.1 hertz to 1 million hertz. Now, you break that down by 100th of a hertz. That's a lot. That's over 10 million frequencies that Healy accesses to utilize and align your bioenergetic fields. Way more than 144,000 frequencies, the gold cycle frequencies Nuno Nina uses. Way more. Okay. It includes, does it include the Rife systems? Sure. Does it include what everybody else out there that's doing it, that uses frequencies? Absolutely. Because there's a certain range of frequencies that everybody's living within. Okay. So, and Healy can access that. If you've ever watched your Pink Dot app, look at the frequency at the top of the screen. It's going to be some number and fractional numbers, right? It's huge in terms of the available frequencies it can use. So how does it know what to use? Again, it's evaluating 2 different realms. One realm is the resonant frequencies of the body. So when you're connected to it via the electrodes, it's looking at the resonance of your body and how it can align the systems that you've told it to look at, right? If you're telling it to run the skin program, you've defined its job, and now it's going to find the frequencies to align your body. If you and I ran the same exact program and we watched the app, we would not get the same frequencies. But we don't resonate the same. So that's the beauty.
I'm curious about that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's fascinating. So, but that's only in the resonance, right? Not the.
No. What I was just describing is actually on the Pink Dot. Everybody's Healy has it. Everybody's Healy has it. When you're connected to the microcurrent, by the way, and you're running a program. Yeah, right on. There you go, Rosie. When you're running a program, the first 9 minutes of the program is an evaluation phase. It's reading your resonance. So remember, there's a microcurrent going through your body. Okay, from this side to this side. What's in the middle? Me. So it's going through my whole body. It is electron by electron, finding a pathway from one side of me to the other side of me through the Healy. Electron by electron, cell by cell. And it's finding the resonant frequencies of my body. If you guys are not familiar with resonance is how one particular entity and another match, right? So it's finding the program's desire is your most healthy state. For what? Well, we've been talking about skin. Okay, let's stay with skin. So you're running a skin program. It's running frequencies through your body to find out what's most going to optimize your body. And then after that first segment of an analysis, it picks from its resource pool. Each program has a resource pool of up to 500 different frequencies, but it's only going to pick about 6. And those are the ones that's most necessary for your alignment and the alignment of that particular program's purpose. So it's looking at the resonance of your body. It's finding those very specific 6 or 5 or 9, whatever the number it finds, and then starts implementing those into your body, right? And at the same time as it's implementing into your body, it's still reading your body's resonance, saying, okay, there's this one frequency. How do you resonate now? Your body says, about 50%. So then it starts giving you a progress report. You ever seen that? The bottom of the oscillating circle, there's a little percentage down there. That's the progress report on that one frequency. And then move to the next frequency, another progress report. When your body gets up to 100%, it kicks that frequency out of the routine. You don't need it anymore. The cup is full, right? That's how the pink dot works, guys.
That's
Okay.
why sometimes when you run a program, sometimes it can finish earlier.
Yes, because if you'll notice when you look at a program when it's loading, you go to your pink dot app and you choose a program and it's loading, or before it's loading, it says maximum duration. It doesn't say duration. It says maximum duration of 70 minutes or 55 minutes or whatever. That's maximum. If your body becomes resonant with all those frequencies in 20 minutes, it's done. Healy won't give you what you don't need. It's not, it can't. It doesn't resonate anymore. Or it resonates max, you're done. I mean, it's just phenomenal how that works.
That's
right?
so phenomenal. So that's just on those pink dots. So when you get back to the blue dot.
So let me finish a little bit on the pink dot. So digital nutrition lives on the pink dot. All right. So you have 72 microcurrent programs, or they call them mixes, digital nutrition mixes. And there's a reason they call them mixes, because they have a purpose. So again, we've been talking about skin. There's a digital nutrition mix or program for skin. There's not just one nutrient that takes care of the skin. There's multiple nutrients. And so within that mix, if we're looking at the skin program, there's 6 program pages, 6 pages, and 12 programs per page. And each program has a very specific purpose. There's 72 of them. Everything from vitality to, as we've been talking about, skin. So it gives you a very distinct implementation of microcurrent with the frequencies that stimulate skin in the nutrition arena. So in other words, if it's CoQ10, all right, the frequency of CoQ10 is given to the entire body, right? If it's vitamin B12, whatever it is, it's in that mix, and the body is given the microcurrent with the frequency on board to stimulate the cell receptor sites for better bioavailability of vitamin B12, as well as the energetic signal to the cell, right? The body doesn't know the difference between something that we make up in our mind, an energetic thought, or something we see in our 3-dimensional space. The body doesn't know the difference. So when we send a signal into the body to biohack it, right? It thinks it's getting vitamin B12. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, right? So that's in the microcurrent frequency spectrum on the pink dot. In the blue dot, to your point, Christy, we can what's called vibrate these same protocols, the same program's purpose. We can vibrate that content into our energetic field. Remember I said the blueprint, the perfect blueprint in the quantum field, and then that quantum entanglement with this 3-dimensional body, it starts to upregulate that signal. What signal? Remember I said there's this perfect blueprint, and then it has to slow down in frequency, filter through consciousness to become matter. It's this consciousness that gets in the way. So if we can boost the signal, we can make it more clear. And I like to do it when I'm asleep, because then I'm out of the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about that email I just got. I'm not stressed about this deadline I have. I'm out of the way. And the body's just, the body doesn't know the difference. Remember I said, it doesn't know the difference. It's just taking it and healing. And literally that circadian rhythm, the sleep cycle, that's when all the healing happens. All the healing happens. And by the way, the most effective time frame in which the body is healing based on your circadian rhythm, is between midnight and 2 a.m. in REM, that deep REM sleep. You're in and out, in and out, in and out. That's when the body's doing its major job of healing. So if you're awake, guys, you night owls, you can't cheat this. You know why? Because I don't know any of you that controls the rising and setting of the sun. I don't know anybody that does that. I don't. And so wherever your circadian rhythm is, midnight to 2 a.m., be sure you're sleeping. Get into that deep sleep and stay there so your body has the opportunity to do its full potential of repair.
Can
All
we
right.
have a question here for Tina? She posted a long time ago. She's
Okay.
asking, what's recommended in the HealAdvisor is coming for practitioner database and doesn't get you caught in giving medical advice?
Yeah. See, this is the thing. We can remove ourselves from the advice giver. I know none of you guys give advice, but I'm saying that if we're going to give advice, we want it to be valid. But what I say earlier, if you got a sunburn and you tell them to put gasoline on it, are they going to be happy? They're going to be really angry. And they come back. So the HealAdvisor is a way that we can detach from the being responsible for the advice. And we just simply need to say that to someone. If somebody's asking us a question, this is why Healy added that advisor search to every edition now. So they don't have to ask us, right? Just go to your advisor, put in your keyword, and get the content you need. If you're still being that person, that advisor, and you're using Healy to be the way in which you're deriving that content, just be sure you're disclosing that. This is the advice from Healy. Okay. Liability purposes, when we become, if we're trying to be a practitioner and we're not insured for being a practitioner and we're using Healy as our, I don't know what you want to call it, our advisor, then just be clear when you're working with somebody that I typically ask folks to get their own Healy, right? Even the lowest edition, the gold edition, comes with the advisor. So why not, right?
Can you share your screen and show on your phone how does the calendar for HealAdvisor works? Because this is super good. Guys, if you ever tried, so you can input, for example, 3 things that you're facing right now. In my case, I put problems with my eyes, with hormone balance, and stress. And then HealAdvisor can create a calendar for you with all the recommendations. And maybe Ken can show to you guys how this works.
Yeah, let's see.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I'd like to ask one thing. May I?
Yes, of course, Rosie.
Hi. Well, Bettina knows me, but knows body and there. I'm Rosie, and this is very new for me. I heard about believe 2 months ago, and I purchased this 45 days, something like that, and I have this one, yes.
You have the gold.
And the simple one. And I just one question, like I was before. How here percentile? How I can how I should increase that? Because like they show they start with 15%. Okay. And then how I should then sometimes I put like 25 like before or 30. How I don't know. Do you know how much I should start? Like this one is my 3rd week.
So did you want to answer that, Bettina, or do you want me to?
Normally what I do, Rosie, I don't go more than 85%. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ken. And I saw in a training when you're applying for animals, you shouldn't go more over than 35%. But it all depends on your sensibility. If you put the wristbands and you feel this is too strong for you, you can reduce. But I will increase maximum 85%. I'm not sure if I'm right, Ken.
So the when you're running the microcurrent programs, remember this is the Pink Dot app, everyone. You've got the wristbands on or the sticky pads on or whatever. The Healy is trying to run the electron field through you. And so if there's a measuring stick in which the app is looking at if it's effective doing that or not. It's trying to run the current flow through you. And so let's say you've got one of the wires disconnected, right? It's trying to run the current flow through you. It's not going to do a very good job of that. And the way that it tells you that it's doing that or it's not doing that is within that circle, there's a little red dot and it goes around the circle. That's kind of the time frame of the program. But behind that little red circle is a tail. The tail is either white, gray, or black. If the tail is white, that means there's proper current flow through the body. It's actually measuring. Healy wants to know, am I being effective? And the only way it's going to know if I'm being effective is if I'm actually getting electron flow through the body that's carrying the frequencies. If it's not getting through the body, it's not going to get to the cells. So it's no longer being effective. So if you've got a black indicator, that means that you're below the minimum current flow threshold that Healy's allocated for proper electron flow. In other words, it's too low of a signal. And so now people that are highly sensitive, I've heard them say that I can still feel it even though the line is black. Okay. You don't want to go up to where it's uncomfortable, right? So the different frequencies that these programs transmit into the body, some of them are very, very high frequency. Some of them are very, very low frequency. When I say high and low, the threshold's about 500 hertz. So 500 hertz. Below 500 hertz is a very low frequency spectrum that is closer to density. What I mean by density is the density of your body, three-dimensional matter. So sometimes it takes a little more punch to get those frequencies through the matter. And I'm not saying your body's dense. It's no more dense than another, but the point is that to get some of these low frequencies to go into our body, it requires a little bit more current flow. That's why you have that plus and minus intensity button at the bottom of the screen. So you can increase the current flow. It's even if you max it out, it's still within what's called microcurrent range. It's just that you may feel it. And if you're feeling it, it may be holding your consciousness hostage. So in other words, when you when you hit your finger with a hammer, you feel it. And what happens? Your consciousness is held hostage by the pain in your finger. So if you're feeling tinglies going on, your consciousness may be hostage by that experience, and your mind, the subconscious mind, is going to go into that fight or flight. It's going to go into fight or flight. It's going to say, oh, safe or not safe. And if you're not sure, it's going to always default to not safe. Trust me, that's how it works. It's going to say not safe. So it's better to not so much feel it, right? In other words, some people crank it all the way up and they're like, oh, yep, I'm feeling it. Oh my gosh, I love it. That's too intense. That's not what it's made for. You want to raise it up till you can feel it and then back it off a little. Now, remember what I said, frequencies below 500 hertz may require a little more intensity to get through the body. So watch the program and you may see the line go white, black, dependent upon the frequency being transmitted in that present moment. That's important. I like to run it for a while, find out where it goes black, crank it up just a little bit so it stays white in that zone, feel it, and then I find that sweet spot. You go up to where you can feel it and back it off one click, right? So if it's 45%, that you feel it, back it down to 40. And then just watch that white, black line. Now, I mentioned gray earlier, by the way, folks, because there's 3 different ways in which it's telling you the status of that current flow. White means yes. White means yes, it's going through the system and it's working. Okay. Black means no, it's not going through the system, and it's still maybe working per se, because you may still feel it, but it's below the minimum measuring stick that Healy's allocated. Okay. Gray, if you see a gray line, it simply means no measurement taken. Now, this is typically the programs that are designed for acute conditions. Acute conditions. All right. Because they simply only have 1 or 2 frequencies. And there's just not a need to measure. So whether it's, whether you got it down to 0 intensity or all the way up to high intensity, well, you don't want it at 0, but it's still the same. It's going to be gray. All right. So
Can I ask a question about that?
Yep.
The reason why I have stopped using my Healy is I had the original Healy, like I said, and I had the original wristbands. Then I got the new wristbands. I have never been able to get it. I mean, barely ever been able to get it to be white. So I literally just stopped using it because it's so frustrating. No matter what amps I put it on. Could I have a faulty Healy?
No, but I'm going to show you a little something that was probably going to, well, maybe you guys don't know. So in the HealAdvisor app that you're seeing right here on the screen, at the bottom of the screen down there, there is a settings function. Click on settings and you go down to the 4th one from the top. It says Healy configuration. All right. Click on Healy configuration and it's going to pull up all the Healys that are attached to your account, and take a look. You can create high current or low current, and you can switch that. So basically all the Healys are shipped out to us in low current status. So the reason they added this function, I want to say about a year ago, this ability to switch from high to low, because the different wristbands had a different conduction rate, what we call impedance. So in other words, the silver wristbands, they allowed current flow like crazy, and people were getting too much, way too intense, even when they turned it all the way down to low. So Healy created a 2-stage differentiation here, a high current and a low current. Now, even when you have it on high current, you can still crank it way down. But here's where you would switch it. You click on that little switch function right there. See, right now, my device is in low current status. And I could click that little switch button, and it's going to tell me, are you sure you want to do that? And here's some of the things that it talks about, the current flow, why it's too low and that kind of thing. You say, yep, I understand. I want to do it. So you click on that little box, click on continue. And then it's going to give us a cool little video as to how to propagate that new setting on the app, in the app. Because so you click on yes. So there's a little video here that's just playing. It tells you what to do. Okay. So you click on the pink dot app. You scroll down to settings. You click on settings. You scroll down to check for updates, click on check for updates. Healy there'll be an update in the cloud that will come down and change the setting on your Healy. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes right now. I'm going to click on yes, right? And then it's going to give me a little message. Okay, so it's processing. Please check back later. All right. So what has to happen is my command from the HealAdvisor app has to go to my cloud account and ask the cloud account technicians to, hey, please change Ken's serial number ending in 09 to high current status. And then there'll be a update sent to my pink dot app. I go to my pink dot app. I check for updates. Boom, there it is. I say yes. And now my device is on high current status. So give that a shot. That's all done right there in the advisor, like I was showing you. And remember how to get there? The little gear at the bottom right of the screen, that's your settings tab. Roll down to the fourth one from the top, Healy configuration, and boom, there you go.
Thank you so much. So obviously you've heard this before.
You know, I've been with Healy for over 2 years. I think I've heard them all. I do the Tech Tip Tuesday every week. I get so many people reach out with questions and things. So yeah.
Mine never showed the green one. As soon as I always use white. This one here, because it was a photo. I just took a photo because I want to show you, just get black when, this one here, maybe disconnecting. Maybe I'm moving, doing some things and disconnect and then go right away going black. But I always use white. I never saw the green. And what I understood then, I should, increase since I feel this, kind of like a shock. And then I put a little down and keep it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way that number one, folks, is we want to be hydrated. Proper hydrated body is a properly conductive body. And what's proper hydration? I'm sure Christy knows this answer, but it's half your body weight in ounces of water per day. That's just if you're an athlete, or even if we're carrying extra body weight, that means that equation has to go up. Half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water in a day. Not in the morning, not at night before bed, but the entire day. Okay. That's going to help increase the body's conductivity because of hydration. Number two, electrolytes, making sure our mineral content is high, right? And then the next thing is when you're putting your wristbands on, you want to hydrate or wet or moisten the wrist, or use conductive gel, whatever it takes. And then you put your wristband on. All right. That is going to help increase the conductivity between the skin and the wristband. Now, if you guys want to do a quick little test on whether your system is working or not, I'm just going to show you really quick here. Connect your wristbands and wires together. Hook everything up. Plug it into your Healy. Take the wristbands. Okay, this is the opposite side of the plug-in. And hold them together. And then start the program. The line should go instantly white. What's that saying? Is it saying that the wristbands are good, the wires are good, and the plug-in on the Healy is good, system is good? Then if you take everything apart, put it on your body, start the program again, and it's black, well, what's not good is in between those two. I'm just saying. It's not the system, right? It's not the hardware. It's us. Okay? All right.
So can we have 10 more minutes just to be respectful on people's time? If you can show the calendar and ask any more questions. We have one more question here in the chat.
Okay. How long do you run the DNA mixtures at night when you run them? So first of all, the digital nutrition microcurrent programs, they have a set time if you're running microcurrent into the body. But if you're running it from the Blue Dot app, and you've done a scan and you've used the digital nutrition as your database for scanning your needs, it's going to come up with a list, and then you can vibrate those needs, the frequencies, into the client, which is you. And you can set the timer. There's some default times within that modality, within that program, but you can also customize. But what I do is different perhaps than some. I'm an experiment within myself all the time. I run things much longer. Healy is always going to tell you the most safe and the most conservative way of using the system. You, as an experiment within yourself, can do whatever you want. And I suggest number one is you experiment in small phases first. So if you're going to want to run it for longer periods of time, instead of 1 minute, 5 minutes, you say, I'm just going to go for the gusto, and you want to run it for an hour, then do that. But then do a self-assessment. If you're feeling yourself agitated or if you're feeling things going on, just pay attention to that. Maybe back it off a little. I'll be honest with you, I ran it for like all night once. I ran a lot of things that were very disruptive. But I just wanted to go all out and see what was happening. And I felt like the next morning, I felt like my entire skeletal structure was vibrating. And I'm like, okay, maybe I overdid it a little bit. I'm just saying. But the point is I gave my own advice to myself, and, you know, I was the experiment. So those are the things that I recommend. All right. Okay. So, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of time here, but if you're going to go to the search, and, you know, it's going to tell you, it give you a little disclaimer there, but within the search, we can choose the different, areas in which we're going to confine its database results. So I can go to all Healy, all IMF programs. I can go to, if I have certain, subscriptions like the bioenergetic vitalization or digital nutrition, I can choose these, and I can just come up here to and type in a condition or something I want. We've been talking about skin all night. So I'm going to pick skin, and you'll see that it pulls up some keywords or some key categories associated with skin. So we have just skin, we have cracked skin, dry skin, skin aging, elasticity, that kind of stuff. So we can choose one of those, click on that, and you'll see at the bottom here under remember, I told it just within the digital nutrition protocols, what do you recommend? Well, check it out. It says in all IMF programs, there's 10 possibilities, 2 within the bioenergetic, 5 within digital nutrition, and 3 within the Healy IMF programs. All right. So here they are. Skin. The first one was this. It's the skin program on one of the pages. There's one that just says skin. Antioxidants, structure, tissue, and circulation. Now a little star next to it. I can click. Oops, go back. I can click the little stars and add those to my database. All right. So I'm going to say, okay, add those to my database. Okay, great. Now I got them in my database. Now let's go and do I have them all in there? Yes. Okay. And I remember I chose cracked skin up there. All right.
Can you show what's in on Healy IMF programs? Because the majority of the participants of this call, they don't have the nutrition app yet. They have the Healy.
Well, if we choose all, if I click on all, see it populates all those check marks automatically. All right. So if I unclick that, now I have to choose something. In other words, if I don't have those subscriptions, the bioenergetic vitalization or digital, then I check on just the bottom one, which is just the Healy IMF programs. Okay. All right.
So Rosie, this is what you can do. You only have the gold. You can come here and look for your things.
Yep. And it's going to tell you which programs of that page are optimal for cracked skin. I mean, it makes sense, right? Look at Pure. Pure is kind of in the detox protocol, right? Balance is in the emotional protocol, overcoming certain high stressors, high factors, what happens when you're in stress response? Digestion goes down, all of the things, you know, skin is going to show up. It's, you know, how many people have had, you know, you maybe know somebody who's had a very stressful life. It shows in the wrinkles of the face. It really does. You can almost take each wrinkle and say, yep, that was my oldest son. That one was that relationship. It's the saying. All right.
Ken, while you're doing that, I've updated everything on my advisor, and my search button still is not active. I put in all the programs that I have, and under your Healy editions.
So go back to the homepage there and take a look at this advisor. What is it? Is it grayed out or is it?
It's all grayed out.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not active. So you notice the animal protocol here?
Yeah.
online is not brilliant. It's grayed out. That means because I don't own the animal subscription, but the others that I do own are showing up in full color. So the fact that it's not showing up on yours, then one of two things. Either it still needs time to update, right? Or two, you need to put in a ticket to get customer service to activate the function.
Oh, got it.
You purchased your Healy a long time ago, before April 2021. So probably it's not included on your subscription. So you have to pay the monthly fee to have access to the HealAdvisor.
Okay. How do
Yeah.
I?
When did you? Okay, so here's it was July 7th of 2021. Anyone that purchased prior to that, this advisor search was a subscription-based model. There was a period of time that Healy allowed a one-time purchase, and you would have it for lifetime. I'm pretty sure that's over, but on your shop page, you go to your shop page, and you can go to the subscriptions, and this will be there, and you can purchase it, and you can add it.
And it just says the Healy Advisor.
It's called HealAdvisor Search Module.
Okay, search. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
And
Okay.
how much is it, Ken?
Gosh, it's very inexpensive. I don't think it's $25 a month. I don't think. I mean, might be less than that. I haven't looked. Sorry. Somebody maybe can go to their shop page and put it in the comments.
I think that's pretty expensive, actually.
Well, if you don't use it, yeah, it's a fortune. If you use it, and value is based on our perception. So how do we use it?
So Ken, it's 8 p.m. I just want to be respectful with people's time. I really, really appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. And I think we should share with the group that our intention is to bring more of this content at least once a month. I'm not sure if you agree, Ken, to come back and train us on different topics. But we would like to listen from you guys. You can send text message, emails to us, and send what you like to learn, and we can come up with different trainings once a month and share more knowledge, answer more questions with all of you.
Absolutely. I think so. So there's, you can probably see the vastness of what this can do, right? We can just narrow it down to just the advisor and show some more operating systems and way that we interface with that. Because, I mean, the 2 hours is not enough time to go through everything that we just did. Trying to build a principle and idea and understanding of how the body operates and interacts with this frequencies in the system takes a minute. And then once we build upon that, now you guys already have that knowledge. You already have that foundation. Now we can go further. We can go to the moon. Actually, let's go to the stars.
And it's not easy, Ken. I think you did such a fabulous job. I mean, you really did. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're happy we find you, because this was what was missing for us to find motivation, is to have a resource to ask questions, because we want to be an example. We want to use ourselves and make it work for us to be able to start telling people how to use it. And having someone like you is essential. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Well, everybody have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. We'll do this some more.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bettina, too. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
Bettina.
Awesome. Good night, everybody. Yay. And then you're going to have the recording, yes?
Yes, I do have the recording. I will edit and I will share it with you. And I will also upload on YouTube. So if you want to have to forward to anyone, you're going to have on YouTube.
Awesome. Well, hopefully there was enough content. I mean, it's really a struggle to put that much